Hey everyone, I'm the Magic Illumineer, and welcome back to my little corner of magic and wonder on the internet where I discuss Disney's Lorcana. This has been a fun series for me so far. I'm excited to continue the mini series I've started here by reviewing the themes and synergies within the different ink colors of Lorcana, and I'm going to be continuing to go through each ink in alphabetical order. I know we're almost done here, there's only a couple left, but we're going to keep going until we finish it off here. And I'm going to go through the different thematic elements with the cards, including combos and synergies with other ink colors it can combine with. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing Sapphire. All right, we've made it to Sapphire. This is the color of ink acceleration, also known as ramp in similar games. Sapphire has a lot of cool stuff going for it outside of ramp, but it's really such a major focus of the ink color, and it's going to be where this conversation starts. There are several different forms of ramp accessible in Sapphire, ranging from low-cost characters that offer inkwell acceleration through their abilities, to item and action cards that offer ramp either directly or indirectly. Firstly, there's Mickey Mouse Detective. This is a card that has been discussed previously in some of my videos. It's a card you'd traditionally want to play in the early game. His Get a Clue ability reads, when you play this character, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. Mickey offers you a body on the field that can challenge in quest and obviously do other things like singing songs, etc. And it increases the size of your inkwell. The only downside to this card, in my opinion, is that it's uninkable. Next, there's Grammatala Storyteller. Her I Will Be With You ability reads, whenever this character is banished, you may put this card into your inkwell face down and exerted. This is one of my favorite ramp options in all of Sapphire because it's a low cost inkable card that can give you a board presence in the early game, which can also become additional ink once it's removed. There really isn't any downside to this card. Next, I'd like to go over some examples of items and abilities that increase the number of cards you can add to your inkwell each turn. Some examples of this are Fishbone Quill and Bell Strange but Special, which both have the ability to increase the number of cards you can ink per turn. Fishbone Quill has the Go Ahead and Sign ability, which allows you to exert in order to put any card from your hand into your inkwell. And note the language there. Any card, meaning even cards that are normally not inkable, are able to be put into your inkwell in this manner. Bell works slightly differently. Bell's Read a Book ability reads, during your turn, you may put an additional card from your hand into your inkwell face down. The wording on Bell's ability differs in the way that the card that's being added into your inkwell must be inkable comparatively to the quill. Both these cards do allow you to quickly reach a high number of cards in your inkwell, but you're going to need to be careful not to overdo it and leave yourself with nothing to play. So there is a balance that needs to be struck there. Now, these cards do combo pretty well with something like a Whole New World and Steel to refill your hand, but I'll talk more about that later. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the songs that add ink into your inkwell. There's firstly One Jump Ahead, which is strictly ramp that allows you to put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. It doesn't cost a lot to play at 2 ink and can be sung to, so it's a decent option if you need to find that additional ramp option for your deck. There's also Let It Go, which is admittedly primarily removal, but instead of banishing a character, you put the chosen character into the player's inkwell face down and exerted. Now, this is notable because shifted characters being removed in this way do bring the whole stack of characters along for the ride, meaning 2 or more ink can be added into the inkwell in this manner. Also, this can target your own characters in addition to your opponent's characters, so you'll have the option to ramp for yourself if you do have the need to, though again, this would primarily be used for removal. The next mechanic that Sapphire has going for it is support. Sapphire is one of only 2 colors that currently has support cards, with the other being amber. Support is a mechanic that reads, whenever this character quests, you may add their strength to another chosen character's strength this turn. This can be a great way to boost some of your lower strength characters in order to challenge characters that would normally be stronger than them. Sapphire has a few different options here, like Chief Tui, respected leader, Merlin, self-appointed mentor, and Philoctetes, trainer of heroes. Each of these characters is able to provide 3 strength to a fellow character using the support ability, because each of these characters does have 3 strength themselves. And this will give them a nice buff for a challenge. Now, Sapphire also has Work Together, which is a one-time action that provides the chosen character with the support keyword for the turn. And similarly, it also has Scepter of Arendelle, which is an item, and you can exert this to provide a similarly once per turn the support keyword to a character, unless you have a way of readying the item again. Lastly, with regard to mechanics, I want to go over the item synergies that are found in Sapphire. There are several cards in Sapphire that are designed to synergize with items. Cards like Ariel Who's It Collector and Tamatoa So Shiny have their whole card design and mechanics built around using items. Ariel can be readied whenever you play an item card, which allows her to quest multiple times in a turn. This can be a very strong combo, particularly if you use cards like Eye of the Fates, even though that card itself isn't particularly strong in a deck. It does allow you to exert to give a chosen character +1 lore for the turn. So if you give Ariel +1 lore, she's now questing for 2 per turn anytime you play an item, which can significantly speed up your process for the combo. Now, Tamatoa, on the other hand, has the Glam ability, which gives him +1 lore for each item you have in play. He can also return items from your discard to your hand when played or whenever he quests by making use of his What Have We Here ability. With so many items to choose from, this is an easy strategy to build around. With regard to theme, the Lorcana website has the following to say about Sapphire. Sapphire Glimmers are intellectual, intelligent, and creative. They excel at strategy, invention, and the arts. They can almost always know something, plan something, or invent something that will win the day. This description of the theme can be seen throughout the Sapphire library, from inventors like Belle and Maurice to the cunning Robin Hood, who always has a plan up his sleeve. Creativity and intelligence are abundant. Now for the Sapphire artwork. There's some breathtaking pieces of art here in Sapphire, and one thing to note is there's more blue in these cards than an Eiffel 65 music video. Yes, I realize I'm dating myself a bit there. The shades of blue do a great job of capturing the nature of these characters, whether you're looking at a hero like Belle, Ariel, or Aurora, or a villain like Maleficent or Scar. Some of the most notable pieces, in my opinion, are Grammatala Storyteller by Philip Laurentino and Belle's Strange But Special by Alice Pisoni. Though my favorite artwork in Sapphire would likely be Hades' Infernal Schemer by Matthew Robert Davies. And I don't know why this keeps happening. I'm just a big fan of Matthew's work, it seems. He's developed some of my favorite pieces here in all of Lorcana so far. He's been mentioned by me several times already in this series, and I've just been so impressed with the artwork, and I hope that they continue to design more pieces of art for this game in the future, because that would be very good for the game, I think. Okay, here we go. Incoming repetitive standard disclaimer time. My intention with discussing the various combinations and synergies with the other ink colors, which I'm going to be doing here in a moment, is not to focus on the strongest combos, but instead fun interactions and choices that you can make while you're trying to find your favorite color combinations. Once again, I'm going to be going down this list alphabetically, and I'm going to be starting with Amber. Amber and Sapphire makes a pretty strong color combination with a number of different available strategies. If you want to make use of either princess or villain tribal synergies, for example, Sapphire cards like the various forms of Maleficent add options for the Hades villain strategy, while a number of Auroras and other princesses like Jasmine are available to work well with the Moana princesses strategy. Meanwhile, the singer keyword in Amber would allow cards like Ariel, Spectacular Singer, and Cinderella, Gentle and Kind to sing higher costed songs like Let It Go more easily. Lastly, there are a number of different item options available for Amber and Sapphire to synergize well with Ariel, Who's It Collector, and Tamatoa So Shiny, as I mentioned previously. Cards like Lantern are very useful for reducing the cost of expensive characters like Tamatoa, as well as even just helping you play lower cost characters and saving ink for more items to play. Amethyst and Sapphire is a combo where increasing the size of your inkwell would be incredibly beneficial. Both of these colors have strong cards with expensive ink costs, which would benefit from the acceleration that Sapphire's ramp package can provide. Cards like Grammatala and Mickey Mouse Detective can help you in the early game to start playing your higher cost characters like the Queen, Wicked and Vain, Dr. Facilier, Agent Provocateur, and one of my favorite cards in this set, Elsa Spirit of Winter, and even Hades Infernal Schemer more quickly to make more of an impact on the board, because these high cost characters would take a lot of time to play otherwise. The Queen in particular here is a very strong option because she can help you generate card advantage regularly. Her I Summon the ability lets you exert her to just draw a card with no downside attached to it. Hades is strong because he can act as a cast of Let It Go on one of your opponent's characters, but he's also a body that stays in play afterwards that can continually generate lore if he stays on the board. Moving on to the Emerald Sapphire combination now. Emerald has a lot of characters that want to be banished in challenges for their effects to occur, such as Cheshire Cat Not All There. With options to remove cards via actions, items, and abilities of characters, it can be kind of hard to guarantee this. However, if you use cards like cards that can give the ward keyword, for example, to protect these cards from being targeted except in a challenge, well, that would significantly help you with your game plan. One example of an Emerald card that already has ward is Cusco Temperamental Emperor. However, not all cards have this protection. One way around this, though, is to use Aurora Dreaming Guardian. Her Protective Embrace ability gives ward to all of your other characters in play. This would force your opponent to either remove Aurora first, challenge your exerted characters in order to remove them, or they would have to use a mass removal option such as grab your sword and steel or be prepared in Ruby to at that point remove all of your characters at once, since it wouldn't be targeting any one of your characters. Genie Powers Unleashed is also useful in this color combination. Sapphire allows you to increase the size of your inkwell more quickly using the ramp cards that are available to play earlier on in the game, and Genie's Phenomenal Cosmic Power ability allows you to play action cards costing 5 or less for free when he quests. This would allow you to play cards like Let It Go at a reduced cost, while still allowing you to quest for lore. In my last video, I discussed the Ruby Sapphire combination in depth and mentioned the strong combination of ramping to create a large and well-stocked inkwell in order to play several larger threats earlier than intended. I discussed how Belle Strange But Special is one of the best finisher options in the game from her ability to generate significant amounts of lore in a single quest. And this color combination also offers big hitters like Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor to really put a clock on your opponents with regard to lore generation. Ruby does also have some interesting item options that work well with Tamatoa So Shiny and Ariel Who's It Collector strategies. Items like the Shield of Virtue, the Sword of Truth, and the Poisoned Apple all have abilities that can be useful for the deck, ranging from removal of certain common character types with the apple or the sword, to yet another option in Ruby to ready your characters and make more use of abilities and challenges with the shield. Zoolander jokes aside, the color combination of sapphire and steel, affectionately referred to as blue steel by some people, can be a very strong color combination. Steel has a lot of cheap removal options to keep you in the game early while you're trying to accelerate your ink generation to play your bigger threats. Cards like Fire the Cannons and Smash have been mentioned previously in this series a number of times as options to take out your opponent's characters in the early game or even mid to late game as an option to remove already damaged characters or low cost characters that are being played. Steel also has some card draw options to replenish your hand when you start running low on cards. This is an issue that I mentioned previously with the Fishbone Quill and with Bell's Strange but Special. If you're ramping too quickly and you might run out of cards, some options to help you with this include the Beast's Mirror and a Whole New World, which will just fully fill up your hand by drawing back up to 7 cards after discarding anything that's remaining, which admittedly could be 0 cards if you have a Whole New World as the last card in your hand. My final thoughts for Sapphire are that it's going to be a handful to deal with in most capacities because it's going to accelerate a lot of strategies by giving you more resources to work with in your inkwell. You're going to have to look out for any bombs being dropped on the board when the Sapphire decks get their engines going. They have some cool theming. Every card seems to really fit well in the color. And in terms of art, the art is fantastic. All of the artists have done a wonderful job with all of the pieces that they've created for this color. I'm looking forward to seeing everything firsthand once I can get my hands on some cards. And that being said, that's going to be all for me this time. Once again, thank you guys all for joining me. I'm really hoping you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more reviews or discussion about Lorcana. The first chapter officially releases tomorrow as of the uploading of this video, and I just cannot wait. It's finally here. I'm so looking forward to getting my hands on some cards and playing some games. I'm going to see you guys in my next video, hopefully when I'll be discussing Steel, and I'll see you guys next time.